Audible, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Hello, sir. Very good evening, sir. Myself, Dr. Rachel Misri. I welcome you on the behalf of Department of Biosciences, Veer, South Gujarat University, Surat, in the workshop Sustainable Ecosystems Engaging Communities Through Citizen Science, Apiculture, and Mushroom Cultivation. Uh, Dear students and dear participants, right now we have a Dr. Vijay Bharve, sir. Vijay Bharve has been a nature enthusiast from childhood with a special love for the birds and insects. He earned a master degree in computer science in India and thereafter joined a non-profit organization contributing in medical plant documentation and conservation issues. He developed a keen interest in biodiversity informatics and has a PhD in geography from the University of Kansas. His doctoral research focused on citizen contribution to biodiversity data mobilization, and his postdoc at the Florida Museum of the Natural History focused on the community science and butterfly biodiversity informatics, which he followed with a postdoctoral research at the Persian University working on a terrestrial parasite. Dr. Vijay Parve has been involved in the Global Biodiversity Information Facility both as data mobilizer, mentor, and data user. He also served on a various committee for the biodiversity information and standard groups. On the behalf of Dr. Vijay Parve, Dr. Bijan Mitra, I welcome you, and sir, now this session is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. I will share my screen. Just confirm whether it looks all right. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So I will go ahead and get started. Thank you very much for this invitation. It's really honor to talk to all of you in this particular workshop that is happening. And my topic today is going to be citizen science in biodiversity. I will go over each of these terms. What do I mean by that? And then I will just share some of my experiences based on the work that I've been doing for last few years. So I will just briefly introduce myself in a slightly different manner. Obviously, you know my name is Vijay Barve. My username on iNaturalist is Vijay Barve too. I've been a founder member of very active communities like Butterfly India and Diversity India, which are involved with documentation and study of biodiversity uh, in whole of Indian subcontinent for that matter. We also have members from neighboring countries, not only India. As I was introduced, I have a background in computer science and geography. I did my master's and then I did my PhD in geography at the University of Kansas. I've been a nature lover, started with birds, then got more interested into butterflies and other invertebrates, insects, moths. I just love looking at them and documenting them. And I volunteer for iNaturalist as a curator. I also volunteer for India Biodiversity Portal and Biodiversity Act. So that's like a brief background of what I've been doing. And then outline of my talk, I plan to talk a little bit about what exactly I mean by biodiversity. What is CITSI or citizen science? How do we define it? What exactly it is? It consists of why it is important for both biodiversity as well as citizens. What exactly is biodiversity documentation? When we just talk about biodiversity, like what is being documented and where can we as either scientists or citizens can participate, and then I have a bit of concluding remarks. So you're all aware of what biodiversity is, but just to kind of reiterate, biodiversity simply means all the variety of life on Earth. So this is just a slide showing a little bit of butterfly biodiversity from India. So as you see, um, it comes in a lot of different colors and shapes, biodiversity. Uh, it's not yet completely documented or discovered. There are so many species still being described and discovered from India itself. Uh, but at the same time, there are a lot of species at the risk of extinction, and many of them just because of human activities, the increasing presence of humans and increasing needs for various things. There are estimated about 8 to 9 million species, but there are only about 1.2 million species described so far. That's the vast uh, difference that we are looking at that needs to be studied and described. So, biodiversity has a very deep impact on our lives. We do not realize it a lot of times, but has the impact on the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat. Everything is impacted by biodiversity in one way or the other. And extinction of many species, as we always keep talking about, and as I just mentioned, it is mainly driven by human activities today, uh, which will definitely have catastrophic effects on our life and our future generations. So we need to find means and ways to minimize that and see how we can survive as a species and as a planet. So coming to citizen science, there are a lot of different views of what exactly should be called citizen science. So I uh, kind of picked up some definitions from different places, and just to kind of reiterate that this term is still being evolved and this is a fairly new term. As recent as 2019, people were still uh, trying to define what citizen science is. And now, if you also see, there is a resistance from some people calling it citizen science. They want to call it community science or participatory science or things like that. So just to keep in mind that it's not a very well established uh, stream of science, but it's still slowly evolving, and we need to be understanding that. Few more definitions, but in general, citizen science is any time a non-scientist gets involved with um, any scientific research or data collection, then it is broadly referred as citizen science. So, as I've written here, a classical example is bird watchers uh, reporting their bird observations to a particular project is a citizen science. There is a winter butterfly bird count or backyard bird count, or so many different projects around, and then that is how citizens contribute. And the what do citizens get out of it is some kind of satisfaction towards contributing, and what science gets out of it is we have a very limited number of scientists, and they cannot be uh, at all the places at all the time. So record what's happening in these places is if citizens can contribute to that um, in whatever way they could, then it will uh, add a lot of value addition and a lot of data. Obviously, citizens being non-scientists can mm, contribute in a limited way, but still, how that can best be improved and how that can be um, utilized is what most of the citizen science projects are working on. Uh, there is a citizen science government site which tries to really break down what citizen science is. So it says that citizens should be involved in formulating research questions, conducting scientific experiments, collecting and analyzing data, interpreting results, making new discoveries, developing technologies and applications, and solving complex problems. So this is one other definition by one of the American government um, institution of what exactly uh, citizen science is. National park services have their own definition. I don't really want to read them out, but basically, I'm trying to uh, show you how different people are interpreting citizen science slightly differently, and uh, just using the word citizen science or community science may not mean exactly the same for everyone. For one school of thought is as long as there is a small contribution of citizens into collecting data or something that qualifies for citizen science, or some other um, for some other people it, or groups it could be something else. So that is how citizen science is still kind of evolving and trying to uh, kind of discover itself. Right? I would say. So, National Geographic has its own definition, which says practices of public participation and collaboration in scientific research. So, Wikipedia obviously has its own definition. Uh, as I've been working more on butterflies, uh, but basically, what does citizen science in biodiversity in general mean? So, uh, any participation by a person who is not a trained biologist, I count that as citizen science. And what what is uh, it could be just like photographing a butterfly or an insect and sharing it on social media. Should that be called citizen science? We will kind of revisit that because many times it is done and forgotten. So that data, in a sense, is not available and doesn't really become part of digitally accessible knowledge in the future. So involvement level and commitments of these um, enthusiasts kind of makes a difference. What, what and how we qualify as citizen science. Just to kind of um, elaborate on that. Uh, to my mind, who's an enthusiast? It's a person who's anyone who's like curious about biodiversity. Um, these are the people who are mostly kind of outdoor loving people. People like to go on treks or go visit different places, watch birds, things like that. So uh, these are the curious enthusiasts. And a lot of times, once they see something that they don't know, or they see something that they know, they see something that they don't know, they will post it with ID, please, kind of thing. Oh, I saw this. I don't know what it is. Please help me figure out what that is. Or if they know, they will kind of post it on something like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or WhatsApp and things like that. Mm, in some sense, kind of showing off what they have seen, but also in some sense, an urge to kind of share what they are learning through this. Going to a little kind of higher level, which we can call them citizens volunteer. They become more meticulous in note taking. They're willing to put in more efforts. They over the time they have kind of learned a little bit about how to identify, how to record these things, sometimes how to count these things. So uh, and other than just ID, please, many times they post it on social media for confirmation of the ID. So, oh, I saw this, but just like make sure that uh, what I think is what it is, kind of thing. And then they also start using portals like iNaturalist and India Biodiversity portal. If you are not aware of what iNaturalist or India Biodiversity portal is, I will at least talk a little bit more about iNaturalist in future slides. And then what I think is really qualifying as a citizen scientist, as these are very serious people. Mm, They are serious about their contribution. They are aware that their contributions count and are helpful for science. Mm, They regularly try to contribute on portals like iNaturalist and Biodiversity Atlas and things like that with their records, and not only records but also identification. They start gaining advanced identification skills, and many a times, if a research article is being published based on any of the findings, they are definitely worth uh, co-authorship in those research studies. Is what I really qualifies as a citizen scientist. So, seriousness about a contribution is one of the main deciding. So, in a broader way, curious biodiversity enthusiasts or just enthusiasts are more at the education and awareness level. Citizen volunteers start becoming responsible for data compilation, and then citizen scientists are actually trying to do some research or being very, very serious contributing to certain projects. These are the kind of broader rules of these. And mostly what we see, the distribution of these is here. There are way, way too many citizen scientists and the fewer citizen volunteers and very few actual citizen scientists. But ideally, what we want is uh, very quickly we need to be graduating this enthusiasts into citizen volunteers, and then depending on their interest and willingness, they might want to become a citizen scientist or remain as a volunteer. Basically, data compilation is a major role that anyone and everyone can actually contribute to, and that's how we need to be making sure that we have more and more volunteers. So that will have impact on the science at a later stage. This is the kind of ideal situation, and we will talk a little bit more about how we can try to be there. So this is more or less what I wanted to kind of lay grounds and define what citizen science is in the context of biodiversity research and how uh, anyone and everyone can kind of contribute to this. So, going to the importance of citizen science. So, this is from one of the research paper, which says that it has amazing potential as an innovative approach for data gathering. So, as I said earlier, scientists cannot be there everywhere all the time. So, basically, citizens could be their eyes and ears and document. And then that also helps in educating the citizens who are keen to learn about biodiversity and nature around them. So this is also a really good educational or outreach tool, because the more the people start observing nature, loving nature, the more they are likely to protect it. What you know, you will protect. What you don't know, you don't care whether that is protected or not. So that is the reason uh, citizen science is kind of important, and you need to be promoting it. So uh, it's important to make sure that these citizen science projects. I will talk a little bit more about what I mean by projects, but they need to have a certain rigor so that uh, sufficient data is collected for the end goal. So I've been talking about citizens' contribution in biodiversity documentation. What exactly I mean by biodiversity documentation? So basically, this is the process of recording and identifying what species of plants or animals or fungi or whatever group you are interested in are uh, available or seen in a particular place and time. That is very, very important for a lot of studies. It is very important to know what was seen and where it was seen and when it was seen. Basically, trying to document that is called qualifies as biodiversity and documentation. And this documentation can be done in so many different ways. The documentation can be done in actually collecting samples. It can be done by rigorous record keeping. It can be done by photography or sound recording. So there are different ways of creating these uh, records, but creating these records is important. And as we know, until few years ago, most of these records were generated only by scientists. But now with increased awareness and availability of different information technology tools, uh, more and more citizens are playing a very active and important role in this process of biodiversity development. So there are, as I just mentioned, there are various sources of biodiversity data. There could be videos, there could be photographs, sound recordings, there could be full field trip reports, like person is going on and recording what they have seen. Uh, some of the things can be done by remote sensing or camera traps, so certain amount of automated data collection. Research publications describe a lot of biodiversity of different places. And then institutional collections like herbaria or insect collection or other kinds of collections are very important sources. And then in recent times, biological or molecular sequencing is becoming popular. Just take a little sample, sequence it, and try to know what it is. There is also the whole environmental DNA concept, and so all these things can also record uh, biodiversity. And obviously, the most important and what we are discussing right now is the citizen science. So, a little bit of how traditionally data used to be collected or recorded. There were a lot of people who take very detailed field notes and draw images and kind of collect the whole uh, snapshot of what they were seeing. Now it's much easier. You have devices to quickly record videos or photographs or sound recording. Mm, Um, but still, uh, observations in field and noting them down is a very important thing. So you must be all aware of camera traps, how they can like set these devices which automatically trigger when they see a movement around that, and then it gets some really interesting pictures in these camera traps, and then you can definitely identify the biodiversity in those pictures. At times you might have more data like what they are eating, what is associated, the birds associated with this particular animal and things like that. A lot of things that can be derived using the camera trap data. So that is becoming increasingly popular. Um, for centuries, research has been published in research articles, and then you read through that, or if you kind of extract that information, that also is a really excellent source of biodiversity uh, information or data. Obviously, collections and then derived sequences is very important. For centuries, again, people have been meticulously and scientifically collecting different things, insects, plants, even vertebrates and other things. And these are deposited in different repositories, and uh, in most cases, they are there for decades and centuries. Go back, revisit, look at these specimen. You look at the metadata that is available with that, and can definitely get a historical snapshot of what was seen where. So, collections and sequences is a very important part of biodiversity document. And and the whole topic of our discussion today is documentation by citizens. I mean, it's nothing new. There have been bird watchers and other people who have been doing it for centuries. In fact, a lot of work on Indian biodiversity was done by engineers and who were in India from Britain to put railway tracks, or sometimes armed forces people who have been recording and collecting this biodiversity information. So citizen science is nothing new. It has been done for centuries, but there is a really high impact new momentum in some sense due to internet and other gadgets that we have. Like everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and smartphone comes with a recording device, and it comes with a camera, and it comes with a video recording facilities. So you can do a lot of data collection and recording using just a cell phone. So availability of those gadgets has definitely put in a lot of uh, fuel or a lot of power behind this new wave of citizen science data collection. So, what kind of data is generated through these citizen science efforts when it comes to biodiversity? So, obviously, occurrence is the basic unit. We'll talk more about what exactly is occurrence record and why it is important. But also, at times there is a abundance is collected using some sampling events or inventory is collected using sampling events. And a lot of times also biotic associations could be either derived or recorded, like what insects were present on a particular plant or uh, what different animals assembled at a water hole or whatever it could be. So there's a different kind of biotic associations that can be derived, host plant relationships, prey predator relationships, and things. These are the kind of uh, biodiversity data that is generated mainly through citizen science. What exactly is uh, uh, primary biodiversity data or occurrence data? So we need to know what that is the organism, where there is a location, when that's the date and time, and who is the recorder, just to add additional information so that we can reach out to the person if we need any clarification. So once we have these four components, uh, that's many times referred as primary biodiversity record or a biodiversity record or a occurrence record, a unit. And when we have these in a very significantly large numbers, we can derive a lot of different trends and things from this. So how it works? So this is I'm just giving an example from iNaturalist. So you see, you record an observation, you share it with fellow naturalists using something like iNaturalist, not just on Facebook or WhatsApp, because Facebook or WhatsApp have very limited shelf life and a very limited searchability. But if you put it into any of these established biodiversity portals like India Biodiversity Portal or iNaturalist, um, it has more searchability and shelf life. So you record your observation, you share with fellow naturalists, and then other people discuss. Oh, I think it's a caterpillar of a moth. Someone says no. Someone says no. It looks like a caterpillar or butterfly. Um, Experienced people pitch in, and then you kind of come to a conclusion what it could be. So that's how this works, and so it's very easy as long as you have a device to capture pictures and you start putting it, you are into the game. And then once you have this data, as I said, in a significant number, then what are the benefits? You can keep a track of what all you have seen. So you have, in some sense, you have your life list, you have your list for a particular education institute campus, or you have a checklist for a particular park being automatically developed once you just start recording it. You get a lot of help from other people, which is crowdsource identification. In the process, once people help you identify, ask questions, ask you to observe particular things, you learn a lot about nature in that process. And then all these contributes to creating some really useful data that scientists or policymakers can then use in what is seen where and what can or what should be done about that. And then mm, once you do this consistently, you automatically qualify to a citizen scientist, and then you find a suitable project and a mission, and then you start contributing in a systematic manner. Or you just want to document biodiversity for a particular region, and then you run your own bioblitz and uh, kind of gather your friends or colleagues and uh, concentrate on recording biodiversity for that particular area or a region. So that's called as bioblitz. So INHL is a very uh, interesting uh, portal. It has a lot of biodiversity data being recorded. As you see in most observations, there are people from India who have already recorded more than 50,000 records, that is, individual um, animals or birds occurrences. Every day, every species can be a different occurrence. There are people who have like thousands and thousands of records already contributed, and the central column you can see number of species. There is people who have observed more than 3,000 species from India. And then you also see the kind of most observed species. So uh, there are millions of records being gathered on such portals. There are thousands of species and a lot of people contributing to this. Surprising to see close to 60,000 people from India have already contributed to this biodiversity portal INHLS. And you don't need anything big for that, just your phone is sufficient in most cases. Have already not been contributing, go to nhlis.org, download the suitable app on your phone and start contributing, or continue using the website. You can even contribute on website. If you have some older photographs, you can upload them there too. So these are different ways that you can kind of contribute, start contributing. And then how it helps is a lot of times you might stumble upon a species that has not been recorded in your region at all, or that is totally new to science. And then there are scientists who continuously uh, keep watching on certain groups and certain regions of their interest. And if there is something interesting, that also could result into scientific publication, like new species to science discovery. Uh, this is also continuously used to potentially find new invasive species, any new species that may cause problem showing up in a region can be quickly identified and dealt with, because there are a lot of if there are a lot of citizen scientists going around and observing this, they have more chances of finding these things than a scientist. So, potential of finding new invasive species. There are also interesting uh, records of range extension, like this particular record that you see. Uh, this person on a beach, they find a big organism lying there and dead. Curious what it is, so he just uh, took several photographs and posted it on iNaturalist. And then after a while, so all these records for this particular organism was from south, so he was not sure whether that is the record, because it was so much in the north that it was observed. So it was actually found to be ocean sunfish or mola mola, and it's a major range extension. So scientists actually got into it and then there were very interesting comments by scientists saying, "Oh my God, how come?" and all that kind of stuff. And there is like a very detailed description by a scientist um, saying how this record is significant and how that person was actually able to pinpoint that this is exactly the same species and things like that. So there is a very detailed description provided here saying why this person feels that that is indeed that particular organism. So this particular animal was only seen once in 1889 in the northern hemisphere, and this is only the second record. These are the kind of discoveries or range done in a very small and constant small context, like a new regional record. So this particular butterfly, spotted small flat, for some reason there was no record from Nashik district, and while I was visiting Nashik, I got to see it, photograph, posted it on, and actually got it identified, and it actually added a new district level record for this particular butterfly. So these things are very common because, as I said, scientists cannot be there in all the places all the time. So we can help them record this. So these were the these were the earlier records, and I added this record in Nashik. There are still some unconfirmed records from Gujarat for this species. We need to really look at those records and confirm it. So this is how we also expand understanding and then build our own distribution map for this particular species. Since this butterfly is already seen in these many areas and likelihood of fear, possibly if you go out and look for it, you might even see it in Surat. So these are some of the interesting things that you can learn and discover using these. So, coming back to, as we have already discussed, how in so many ways these really simple biodiversity records can contribute. So basically, feeds a very small way it contributes to research or science. Yeah, we already saw a lot of different mm, cases of how these records were found. The data also can be used in environment impact assessment or public biodiversity register. People's biodiversity registers. This can contribute because if a biodiversity already recorded, then that can be definitely used. And as I already mentioned earlier, you will learn a lot in this process, and what you love is what you protect. So indirectly, you will start protecting the biodiversity. So that's the kind of scenario that I wanted to talk about in the sense of citizen science and biodiversity. And if if you really like this, if you are not already participating, there are a lot of very interesting and easy to participate projects available for anyone and everyone to contribute. City Nature Challenge is one which happens in April, May, over one weekend. This is a kind of global competition. It started in Natural History Museum of Los Angeles and California Academy of Sciences. So NHM of LA, where I work. Few colleagues came together around 10 years ago from these two institutions, and they said, okay, let's go out, promote this citizen science and see how many species and records we can contribute from our own cities. So it started as Los Angeles versus San Francisco. And then next year, there were several other cities from California said, oh, sounds interesting. We also want to participate. And then within 3 or 4 years, it went global. And last 3 years, we have had really good participation from India, and interestingly, Hyderabad has been leading in within India. They have the highest participation simply for the reason of a couple of educational institutions and NGOs have taken it seriously. Obviously, you all might have already participated in Gujarat also. Several districts participate into City Nature Challenge. If you have not done it earlier, definitely look for opportunity. City Nature Challenge is an excellent opportunity to participate, and there you can document anything and everything: birds, plants, insects, even ants within your house. You can document ants and cockroaches. So it's as easy as that. So definitely uh, look out for it, go for it, and participate. Big Butterfly Month is also a major event, happens in September every year. Thousands of people participate in this, and the aim of this is to document as many butterflies in India, and now slowly people from Pakistan and Nepal and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh also have started participating. So from just India, it is now becoming Indian subcontinent kind of event. So month of September, if you are a butterfly lover, big butterfly counts, record butterflies on portals like iNaturalist. National Moth Week is a week-long event, usually happens in July, where moths are sought after and documented. It's very easy. You can just leave a light on in the balcony or your porch, and then a few moths will show up. Just take pictures and post it. A lot of people participate in this. I don't know how many of you are aware, but there are almost 10 times more number of species of moths than butterflies. So we might have between 7 to 10,000 species of moths in India, and a lot of species are not yet documented. So just a week-long challenge. Same like City Nature Challenge, there is Asia Nature Challenge, which typically happens September, October, slightly different season to capture. Cities again can cities and districts can participate in that, and it's just a friendly um, kind of competition of how many people come out and how much biodiversity they can record. Similarly, backyard bird counts, you can just count birds within your education institution or backyard and report them. So these are kind of different projects. These are not the only ones. There are many more for different groups. There is a monitor lizard project, spider events. There are so many different things, and depending on your interest, you can definitely uh, plan and participate in it. That's all I wanted to kind of share, but I have scheduled this meeting for much longer. I'm pretty sure you might have a lot of questions or some comments on whatever contents I discussed, and now I'm happy to open the floor for those questions and comments and suggestions. I'm not able to hear yet.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very informative session. Any questions? Okay, sir, I have one question. How do the students of bioscience can contribute to this citizen science thing, or say data collection or something similar?
Yeah, this is a really good question. It's really, really very easy. Most of the people have a cell phone nowadays, which is capable of taking pictures. Anything and everything
Mm.
that you see and you're curious about, you can try and take pictures and share it on iNaturalist. You don't even need to know the identification. Only thing you need to record is the place where it was recorded. If your GPS is on your phone, it will automatically be recorded on your photograph and can be transferred to portal like iNaturalist. And then you need to uh, again, date and time is recorded with that. So date and time and place you record, and you just leave it as it is. Or if you know, oh, this looks like an insect or this looks like an butterfly, you can just provide that identification. And you will be surprised within a day or two, a lot of people will visit your page and give you more information, saying, oh, okay, this is this particular butterfly, or oh, I cannot say whether this is this or that because you have taken picture only from this angle. You need to be taking picture with open wings or this or that. And then you will start learning about what exactly or what biodiversity is around you. And as I mentioned, you can even start with cockroaches and ants and spiders that you see around, and you will be amazed to learn about them and then a lot of information. Then you can, once you know the exact scientific name, you can go on Wikipedia or you can go on iNaturalist, look at whether this particular plant or animal is only within our region or whether it's seen across India or whether it is globally, what all places it can be seen. The Wikipedia page talks a lot more about their life cycles and things like that. So it's a very interesting and rewarding exercise. And in the process, they're also contributing to what kind of ants, what kind of cockroaches, what kind of spiders are seen in your institute or in your place of residence. And then it's such a kind of interesting hobby once you start doing it, you cannot stop it. Like while doing so many other things, I have already recorded more than 10,000 such records from 8, 9 different countries wherever I went for conferences or meetings. I cannot stop it. I see whatever I see, I take a picture, I keep posting. I have recorded more than 2,500 species, more than 300 types of butterflies because butterflies is what I kind of like. So it's a very, very rewarding hobby for you as well as you're contributing a lot to the science. So,
Thank you very much, sir. We have one more question. What is the future scope of this citizen science?
as I mentioned, there are more and more mm, interesting projects being um, created. Like as I was mentioning, National Moth Week. In India, moth documentation was very scanty. There were not many people documenting moth. But with this, what has happened is a lot of butterfly lovers have also started recording moths in the night. So a lot more moth information started accumulating, and we landed up describing a few new species. So and as I was mentioning, all these things are interconnected. I'm just talking in terms of butterflies and moths, but someone might be interested in fishes, someone might be interested in frogs, and every organism has a very crucial role in either keeping our uh, air clean or keeping our water clean and healthy or providing us food by pollinating and things like that. So all these things are really, really important, and each of us are we interdependent. So once we start doing all these documentations, we'll immediately know, oh, there is a new invasive species which has come from a different place and is going to trouble our native plants. It might be a problem for our crops or whatever, and we can then immediately start working on it or finding, oh, this particular plant was seen very frequently, but now it is not seen. Does it need protection? There are those kind of things. So there are a lot of different ways that just this basic unit of occurrence data, when you have them in millions can be used in various different kinds of data analysis. And I'm not aware of what kind of background and tools bioscience students have, but if they are into molecular studies, there's a lot that can be done for biodiversity using those. Environmental DNA is becoming very popular. Just go to some place, collect a sample, and try to find out what all different organisms were there, because there are deposits of DNA of all the organisms in the soil or in the water everywhere. So those things can be done if you learn statistics. There are a lot of you have these billions of records of biodiversity. You can download them freely. Most of them are free access information, and analyze them in different ways, come up with some research questions, publish them and research. So yeah, depending on your interest, there are endless opportunities available, and a lot can be done and will be done using citizens' help now.
We have another question. Anything related to creating a project for our university campus data, or and you can suggest a project that
I mean, most of the educational institutions or institutions where people are there interested in biodiversity, I can definitely help to create a very specific project, and then you can see how biodiversity gets recorded from your campus. Then something interesting, people say, oh, this was seen on our campus. People actually go and look, oh, this is a beautiful flower. I was not aware that it's on campus. Oh, this butterfly was recently seen. And I have regularly um, got benefited. I wanted to see a butterfly in the Natural History Museum, like in that region. I have not seen one particular butterfly called queen. And then I was looking for it. I was aware that once in a while it is in that region. I just kept looking out for the iNaturalist project, and I then saw, oh, okay, this butterfly is shown up there. I actually started looking out for it, and I found it. So creating a project on iNaturalist is very easy. I can help with that, and then you can just anyone and everyone who records any biodiversity on campus, you can actually start seeing it there and then learn from each other. In fact, it will be very interesting since immediately after this course or immediately after this talk, I would recommend all of you to install iNaturalist, and in next 2 or 3 days, try to find out at least 10 different things, 10 different flowers, ants, insects, whatever. Take pictures and post it on iNaturalist and just leave it. And after a week, you see what happens with that data and what uh, what all you get to learn. And it also could be a interesting competition within the whole group that is sitting in the classroom right now. Who records more plants, or who records more biodiversity or insects or whatever it is. And then definitely once you jump into it, then you will know all the benefits and learn. And definitely I will help you create a project, because everything else is fairly easy. Creating a new spatial location, creating a map location is slightly tricky on, and actually that's where you might need my help. Otherwise, it's just click a few buttons.
that's very kind of you, sir. Now I would like to call Dr. Vishal Makwana, sir, for the vote of thanks.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Unfortunately, I was occupied with an instant meeting with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. But I have just recently joined and heard the answer Q&A session with you. I hope every student has learned something new from you today. And it was really appreciable for us that you have joined us for very short notice, on a very short notice, and delivered a lecture for us. So on behalf of the Department of Bioscience, Veer, Narmad, South Gujarat University, I really thank you for delivering such an insightful session on citizen science in biodiversity. Thank you so much, sir. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.